Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be making a video response to Trisha Paytas, who is a popular beauty slash vlogger here on YouTube, and she also has done some political videos in Mitt Romney that have been really popular. And today she made a video about the new emergency contraception availability for those that are now 15. The FDA has lowered the age. You used to have to be 17 to get emergency contraception, and the FDA has lowered the age to 15. And Trisha then made a video explaining her opinion about the subject.
Or emergency contraceptive being available over the counter. Now, if you guys don't know what Plan B is, it is I consider it, because I'm Catholic and I feel life starts at conception. I feel it's sort of a abortion pill.
Now, Trisha, one of the first points you made in your video was that you felt that emergency contraception was like the abortion pill. And I want to point out that there is a difference. There is an abortion pill. There's a pill you can take that will give you an abortion, basically. It's called RU486, and it will cause you to have an abortion. But this pill is not the same thing as emergency contraception. Emergency contraception stops a pregnancy from happening. It will not abort an existing pregnancy. I repeat, emergency contraception will not abort an existing pregnancy. If you are already pregnant, emergency contraception will not work. It will not stop an existing pregnancy from happening. If you are already pregnant, it's too late. Emergency contraception will do nothing. Emergency contraception stops the chemicals that cause you to ovulate to halt and to not go through that normal process where your brain tells your body that it's time to release an egg. It stops that process. That is how emergency contraception works for most cases. Now, emergency contraception can also stop a fertilized egg from implanting into the uterus. A lot of people get stuck on this point because they say, oh, as soon as the egg is fertilized, that means it's a baby. That's when life starts. But you probably yourself, after having sex, have probably had an egg that has been fertilized that has not implanted into your uterus, that has failed to attach to the uterine wall. This happens to most people in their lifetime, and it's completely normal. Where the fertilized egg just does not implant, and therefore it can't continue on into becoming a baby. So this is not an abortion, because your body naturally does this. This process naturally happens inside your body regardless of EC. This isn't like a unique feature to EC. So just so you know, there is a huge difference between EC and RU486, or the abortion pill.
So what is happening now is it's now like I said, it's going to be available over the counter, as if buying, like you would go buy condoms or a pregnancy test or something, like just very simple and easy to obtain. And not only that, but it's going to be available for I think it was for kids that are like 15. I think you only have to be like 15 or something to buy it, which I think that, to me, now I'm obviously very anti Plan B, emergency contraceptives of any type. I feel like it's stopping something that's unnatural, and you guys know I don't need to like go into this anymore, but I really do preach abstinence, because if you're not ready to have a baby, then you should not be having sex. That's just the way I think. I mean, I am very I think maybe I could have been a little jaded. Like, it's so true. Again, that's not a popular opinion, and a lot of people might say, Trish, that's not realistic, and maybe that's the case.
So, okay, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, EC is now available over the counter to people that are 15 and over. Now, Trish, as you stated, you have a problem with this. You don't think that young girls should be able to have access to this based on maturity and based on the fact that you don't feel like they should be having sex at that age. And, I think it's really interesting because you almost see the problem with your own arguments. Because in the video, you state that some people might say that Trish, you're being unrealistic, and that might be true. And in that, you're acknowledging that that might be true. I really think you can understand the other side of this. I would say that 15-year-olds should be able to get access to EC. I believe that people should have the right to have control over their own bodies and their own sexual health. And I think that this is a huge part of this. Because the thing is that you don't want these young girls that are 15, 16, 17 having babies. You know, if they do have unprotected sex, you can't make that not happen. You can't go back in time and have that situation not happen. So regardless, they could be facing a possible pregnancy. So whether or not they get EC can have a huge impact on their future and their life. And I think you also have to consider the fact that the societal cost of giving girls access to EC is so much less than the societal cost of young girls having babies when they're teenagers. I think from the economic standpoint alone, that's a pretty compelling argument. So looking at it purely fiscally, which is more responsible?
To me, that's just, I think, going to bring out a whole bunch more people being not safe, because here's the thing, emergency contraceptive really only will kill the little baby if you get pregnant, but it's not going to kill any STDs you could get. And I think it's just making people, especially young people, be very lazy.
So okay, no, EC does not kill the little baby. It's not the abortion pill, and we already talked about that. And the second point that you made was that it does not kill any STDs. And no, emergency contraception is not designed to get rid of STDs or prevent STDs or anything like that. That's not its purpose. And yeah, of course, STD prevention is really important, and that's why we have to talk about condom use and get more sex education into schools so that people know how to use condoms, because actually a very large percentage of people do not even know how to correctly use a condom, which is very problematic because condoms are really key in STD and STI prevention. And in terms of EC making people lazy, I don't really think that works, because EC is not contraception. You know, EC doesn't work the same as like going on the pill or getting the patch or using the NuvaRing. You know, it's not the same thing. It's not even meant to be used as contraception. It's just in an emergency situation, if something happened where you had unprotected sex, or even if you were sexually assaulted and had unprotected sex. You know, there's a lot of situations where EC could be needed, but it's not meant to be contraception. It's not meant to be used that way. And I really don't think that most people would use it that way, because I think that they can see the difference and also understand that it is a huge risk. Because like I talked about, if you're already pregnant, it won't do anything. Emergency contraception does not stop an existing pregnancy. And I don't think people want to take that risk, use EC every time that they have sex. And you also have to consider EC is still pretty expensive. You know, it still is not that cost effective. So I think most people would see it as, is it easier for me to get birth control for free if I have insurance, or for maybe like $30 to $50 a month if I don't, or to get EC, which can cost $35 to $60 for a one-time use. So no, I don't think someone would want to use that every single time they have sex.
I guess where I'm going with this is to have this Plan B available over the counter, so easily accessible, and to those who are 15 years old, I think that's so it's mind-boggling. It's like, what are we promoting?
We are promoting safe and healthy sex.
Just please wait to have sex until the legal age. There's a reason here in the United States the legal age is 18. I guess it's 16 or 17 in some states, but don't be having sex at 15 or before. 16 and 17, I still think you're just like a baby. You're not legally an adult, and I think you have to be in a more mature mental state before having sex, because sex is not just physical, it's also mental and emotional, and it can, like, it's a very controlling thing.
Okay, so just to clarify, in most states, the age of consent is 16. So that means that you can have sex with anyone that is 16 or over once you hit the age of 16. And in terms of people that are younger than 16 having sex, that it actually doesn't mean that they can't have sex. It's different in every state in terms of what the laws with that are. But in terms of having sex with people ages 16 and over, you have to be 16 to do that. And that also means that if you're 16 in terms of sexuality, you're seen as a quote-unquote adult, and your parents can't make any of those decisions for you. So, like, if you're 16 and having sex with a 40-year-old, your parents cannot take that 40-year-old to court for statutory rape, because legally you are an autonomous person who can make their own sexual decisions. And I believe that the age of consent of 16 is so in 39 out of the 50 states. And in some of those other states, it's 17, and some of the other states, it's 18. But Trish, I think you also need to take a step back a little bit when you're telling your viewers when they should have sex and that they should be abstaining from it until they're an adult and all that. And I totally understand where you're coming from on that, and where that can be a healthier decision because of maturity. But I just think it's problematic when you're telling other people what they should be doing with their bodies, and that they should be listening to you versus listening to themselves, their own thoughts, their own feelings, their friends, their family, other important people in their life, and telling them that they should negate all that and take your advice, which I just think is a little bit problematic, because you're kind of assuming that you know the right path for all of your viewers, which is obviously not the case. And maturity is one of those things that it can come with age, but for everybody it's a different development. You know, some people at 15 are as mature as most 18-year-olds. I mean, you don't really know the circumstances there.
Those pills, the morning after pills, I guess as they call it, you know, if you do it enough, it can be harmful to your body. It can end up making you infertile and all this stuff like that.
And no, Trish, taking Plan B will not make you infertile. So that is a total myth, just so everyone knows. It does not do any harm to your body. It doesn't do any permanent damage. It will not make you infertile.
So, I don't know. I'm really curious to hear what you guys think. And as always, I'm super open to conversation. I'm super open to people disagreeing with me and leaving comments with an opposing opinion, because I think it's eye-opening, and I think that discussions are important to have. You know, I said my side. I'm more than willing to accept video responses and comments to hear your guys' side, as long as it's respectful.
And that is exactly what I do here, Trish. I made a video response to you in what I think is a very respectful way, even though we don't see eye to eye on this issue. And I just wanted to wrap this video up before it gets too long, and say that no, not all liberals are actually supporting this. President Obama, who I know, Trish, is one of your favorite people, his administration filed a stay motion with the Second Circuit Court of Appeals to appeal this decision that was made by the FDA. So the Obama administration is actually against this. So just to point that out, not all liberals are for this. As much as I wish they were, not everyone is supporting this, just so you're aware. So thank you so much if you watch this, and I would love to hear any comments or anything, if this changed your opinion on anything, if it made your view stronger. I don't know. I would love to hear what you have to say. And to anyone else watching, the same goes for you. I'd love to hear your opinion on this. So thanks guys so much for watching, and I will see you next video.